to this wonderful evening. We hope you had a nice morning thus far. Today is Thursday, the 19th of October 2023. This is the Alhidaayah show on Salam Television. Your host is Sekar Muhammad, and we look at the aspects of good morals in Islam as the main area of discussion. With me, I have our brother who is always giving us insights on what are the different aspects of good morals in Islam, none other than Hajj Sinan Suraj Mbulambago. He's an administrator with Chibuli Muslim Hospital. I request him to greet the viewers and say salam, inshallah.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Dear viewer, a lot is going on in the world, which I want to believe all of us are welcome for that. We want to console and pray for our brothers who are undergoing trial in Palestine. We pray that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala continues giving you the patience to withstand that, and also guide the world powers or the powers be that be to see how this conflict comes to an end. Dear viewer, what we are looking at of late is the aspect of abstinence, which we saw has its foundation in the Islamic religion and also in the conventional fields that we are in of life. So abstinence being the fact that you try to limit yourself from doing something that ideally you would find enjoyable, good to you in the circumstances that are. But specifically for our show, we are looking at the Islamic guidance on abstinence. And in the last show we looked at you need to abstain. In other words, try to fight your heart, fight your ego to see that things that are not yours go back the rightful owners. Last time we saw the aspect of debt repayment. Debt repayment, many of us have many lent money, lent items, and then we have issues repaying them. We also looked at the issue of weight and measurements. Those of us in the merchandise field, the commerce, trade and commerce, among others. So today, with our brother with us here in the studio, we want to look at other aspects. Maybe if you would wish to make a small addition on what we covered last time, and then we see what he has prepared for us today, inshallah. Haji Sinan, you must welcome.
Naam, a'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. Alhamdulillah wa salatu wa salam ala rasulillahi sallallahu alaihi wasallam. All praises are due to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We thank him always for the gift of life and for the guidance of Al-Islam. We thank him for this opportunity in which we have a few minutes in which we share one or two things in as far as our religion is concerned. Like you rightly said, we are still looking at the moral system of Islam. Morality, or what makes character, is actually what makes an individual.
Yes, please.
Yeah, and many times if they asked you who is a person is defined by their character. That's why when you've been probably discussing with an individual,
okay,
somebody may be asking you, may ask you that, whom were you talking to?
Yes.
And say, I've been speaking to Flan. I say, is that also a person was talking to? Meaning, looking at, at people's character. Number two, if Sinan passed away today,
yes,
you see, with death, there is no inshallah.
Okay.
When you go probably to, maybe it is an accident, maybe died in hospital,
or natural death.
Yes, when the people are going to take care of the dead body, they say, go and collect his mite. Go and collect Sinan's mite.
Yes.
Now, it means that really Sinan is separate from the body that we see in here. You understand?
Yes.
So usually what makes a person is what actually their character is. And that's why we're looking at the Islamic moral system.
Yes.
And we've been looking at quite a number of things until we reach this ta'afuf, or afaf, or ifa, whatever you want to look at.
Yes.
And we've been looking at some aspects. Last time we looked at business dealings, and we looked at quite a number of things. The way people use their measurements, in which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala destroyed an entire group, exactly, of Prophet Shu'aib, because they were reducing in weights and measurements, and they were proud of it. Then of course the issues of cheating. Can you, because ta'affuf, abstinence, is about abstaining from what is ugly, what is prohibited, and ensuring that you don't go beyond the boundaries that were set by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
No.
So also looked at financial transaction or financial transactions,
yes,
involve even taking debt, that what is fair is taking money back on a debt that you agreed when you were borrowing it from the what? From the person who gave it to you. And actually, if you have the money and you borrowed it from somebody, the debt has come of repayment and you refuse to pay, you are counted among the people who are dhalimin, people who are cheats. Exactly, because and the nature of Iblis makes us think in such a way that when you want money, you show that you are needy. I come to you, say, brother, borrow me some money, I have a problem here and there. Now, when I'm paying back, Iblis psychologically comes and shows you as if you're giving this person sadaqah. As if you're giving him free money.
As if you're giving free money.
Exactly. And you fail. So that, trying to fight yourself, to control yourself in order to ensure that you pay back as you are supposed to be paid back. So we looked at some of those, but also in financial dealings, the importance of, avoiding what is haram and doing what is halal. Allah has given you enough money, and you qualify practically to pay zakah. If you are you able to resist that, you're ensuring that you have all the money to yourself and you don't pay zakah in this particular money. That's also an aspect of good behavior, but in this case, it is looking at self-control. It's looking at abstaining from failure to pay zakah.
Being stingy.
Exactly. Or even being somebody who has and you even fail to give sadaqah, because it is those who have that are supposed to give what? Sadaqah. Yes. So basically, that's where we are. And whenever you do such things, at the end of the day, they translate into good conduct. They good translate into being a component of the Islamic moral system. Without morals, you don't have a society. Without good character, you can't define any video. That's why I say when a person dies, they say so and so's body. Yes, even when they are talking on your funeral, say this has been a very good man. But what makes people say you are good or bad is your character. And that's why in Islam, it is character that makes a person. By the way, generally, not only even in Islam, humanity is all about good character. So that's what we looked at last time, yes, last Thursday. Maybe what we can look at today, going ahead, is the pride of honor and abstinence from asking people.
Asking people?
Yes, begging.
Oh, begging.
Exactly, even when you feel like you are in need. In Surah Al-Baqarah, there is where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talks about the poor. And then say, La yas'aluna nansa ilhafa. They do not ask people at all, even when they are in need. Now, the abstinence in here is you knowing you have some people whom you can actually ask to help you out. But then you say, no, I will not, out of the dignity you have. And that is a very challenging one.
It's challenging.
Yes, because even when the Muslims during the Hijrah migrated from Mecca to Medina, Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam paired the Muhajirin and Ansar one on another. Now, but there are those really who would give out. They were happy, so that Hashir talks about this. They were happy to share with their brothers and sisters whatever they had, despite the fact that they also had a need for this what? For this wealth. For the wealth. Yes, but and a classical example of if out half of in that is when the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam paired Abdurrahman bin Auf, who was a Muhajir, and Sa'd ibn Rabi'ah, who was an Ansar. Okay. Because he would pair them together and tell them, this is your brother, take him home, because he's a refugee.
He's a refugee.
We are having many people, our brothers in Gaza.
Yes, Gaza, yes.
Even when they wish to be refugees in somebody else's land, not even Egypt is willing to open for them. You get what I'm trying to say? And yet they have lost their houses, they have lost their property, they have lost almost everything.
Yes.
But now, Messenger Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam pairs Abdurrahman ibn Auf, who was a Muhajir, with Sa'd ibn Rabi'a.
Yes.
Sa'd takes his brother home, radiallahu anhu, and tells him, my brother, I'm one of the wealth people in Medina.
Yes.
I'm happy to put my wealth at your disposal. I can, exactly, I'm going to divide my wealth 50%. You take half, I remain with half. And told him I'm married also to 2 beautiful ladies.
Oh, wow.
I'll bring them up in here. Then whoever, because you are poor, you don't know anybody, you are new in the land, you are a refugee.
Yes.
Then whoever pleases you, I'll give her talak and then you'll marry her. And subhanAllah, look at that generosity.
Oh, wow.
And also look at ourselves, myself and you. How many of us can really do that?
Honestly, in the current
But on the other side, we are talking about the nobility of not asking from people. Abdurrahman bin Auf, what he told him, he merely prayed for him that may Allah put barakah in your wealth and in your family. But I don't want to take any coin from you. What you can do for me as my brother, take me to the market. Take me to the place where they work from. I want to earn using my own hands. La yas'aluna nasa ilhafa. They don't ask. Now that is a high form of ta'affuf, high form of abstinence. Even, you know, in this particular case, it's not even abstinence from what is ugly. It's not abstinence from what is prohibited. It is allowed, but somebody feels like I shouldn't be asking anybody. Maybe Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is sufficient for me. So when you look at that, you really see that whenever we mention the names of these companions of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, we say radiyallahu anhum, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala actually, you know, was pleased with what? With them. So basically you look at that as something really very, very classical in our generation today. That, you know, if people can reach an extent of wanting to steal what is not theirs, what about an opportunity where somebody has just given you? You know? Halal. But this person, out of their honor, out of their dignity, they don't even want to ask of other people. And what we learn in from here is ta'affuf or afaf also means having that self-control, that even if you have less, you don't ask of people. You don't become somebody every other time, because, you know, the hand that asks is the one which is lower. Yes, it is that hadith my children usually recite, that, you know, that the hand that asks is the upper hand. The hand that gives is the one which is what? The upper hand, and the lower hand is the exactly. And say we should be among those who actually give, not among those who had receive. Because even in the concept of zakah, yes, zakah is purity. You know, people purify and wash themselves out of the dirt for the poor people to eat that. Oh, wow. In a way, because you're purifying your heart from a stinginess, you are purifying your mind from any would-be problems, because that's what is, you know, like purification. Zakah means what? Purification. So we should all pray to be among those who give, not among those who receive, and much less receive when they have just given you. But not we pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to protect us from asking people always. Yes.
Yeah, I thank you very much for that insight.
Yeah.
I see two things here.
Yeah.
One, it is a verse in the whole Quran where Allah says that Surah to Ma'arij, he was describing people, illa al-musallin, then at one point he says lisaili wal mahrum walladhina fi amwalihim haqqun
ma'lum,
lisaili
wal mahrum,
that the qualities of a believer such that out of their wealth there's a portion predetermined for Then he says lisaili
No.
wal mahrum.
Yes.
There are those who ask,
Yes.
and those that don't ask.
Yes, who have been denied.
Yes. So I think what I'm picking out of what you just said is that
yes,
as a community we have a duty and responsibility to look out for people who
Yeah.
are genuinely in need
Now.
and not wait for them to ask.
Exactly.
Then also there are people
Now.
who out of genuine need
Yeah, they ask.
they ask.
Again, we
Now
should give
how
them.
how are we supposed now to
Reconcile.
marry between the two, reconcile? There's one who genuinely
Yeah.
doesn't have and has come to ask.
Now.
And it's not these people who go on moving from masjid to masjid,
Now.
saying my mom died, my
Yes.
uncle died. Then there's a second category whom it is a duty upon us to look out for.
Now.
And then how do we marry the two such
Yes.
as you can?
Lisaili wal mahrum.
Yes.
Sa'il are those who ask. Mahrum, those are the ones who have been denied.
Denied, yes.
Or who do not have and they're actually in need. Now, this level of ta'affuf of not asking of others,
Yes.
when you look at it, is relatively at a higher level, than the other one where we abstain from things that are ugly, from things that are prohibited, like when we talked about nikah in
yes.
Surah An-Nur, when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said وَلْيَسْتَعْفِفِ الَّذِينَ لَا يَجِدُونَ نِكَاحًا حَتَّى يُغْنِيَهُمُ اللَّهُ مِنْ فَضْلِهِ. So that verse also, when some scholars, I'm not a sheikh,
yes,
when they unpack it, they emphasize the importance of financial ability. Not necessarily being rich, but somebody should have the minimums of maintaining a wife, being able to house her, being able to feed her, being able to clothe her. And without money, you may not be doing that. But now he was saying, let those people practice ta'affuf, let them abstain from unlawful sexual relations. So in this, the ta'affuf is that abstaining from what is prohibited.
Yes.
Now, this level of not asking from others is actually within a level where people actually are allowed to ask, but out of honor, out of dignity, you are made to see that no, I will not ask of people. That's why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made those two categories. The one who asks is okay.
It's okay.
You give whenever you have, especially to you who has. Somebody has asked, you give. But then there are also those who are in the category of al-mahrum. Now these are the ones la yas'aluna an-nasa ilhafa. They are poor. They cannot even go into jihad. They are not provided for. But then if you are a leader, you are an imam, you are a counter sheikh, you are, even if you don't have a position, but then in the community where you live, you should have the capacity that, to identify that somebody probably could be in need, and never assume that actually somebody is well off. If you feel like giving out, let us give out. So because the ayah says وَفِي أَمْوَالِهِمْ حَقُّ مَعْلُومٌ. حَقُّ means it is their right. Predetermined right. In your mal, there is a predetermined right for others, and those others, Allah put them in that particular verse in two categories. The one which will come, please, can you give me my right? I don't mean these ones who make it a job every day and find that my lunch is in your pocket. I think that's where probably they also borrow a leaf from. Yes, because my risk is in your what? In your pocket. But even with those, we encourage it. If you have, give them. Yes.
If you don't, ask them.
Exactly.
So politely move out.
They are merged that this level of ifa is where somebody would be even, be allowed to ask, but out of their dignity, out of their honor, they decide not to ask.
So they go in the second category.
Exactly. So the second category of the mahrum, they don't have, and therefore we should be, as a community, have the capacity to be able to identify some of these people, find out their situation, and whether they may need help in one or the other. There are people whom they tell you about. Somebody goes to a school and he asks the school authorities about children who struggle to finish up their school fees and have arrears of 1 term, 2 terms, and they come and pay for them without
the knowledge,
even knowing the parents or the guardians. You get what I'm trying to say? So this is that is the level.
Okay.
Yes, and you see that this is a relatively a higher level of ta'affuf, simply because even what you would be doing you would not be blameworthy. Yes, you would not be blameworthy, but still they say, no, I will not ask, as a form of self-respect. And that example also I gave of Abdurrahman bin Auf when he was dealing with his brother Asad bin Rabi'a, when he refused completely to take anything from him. And subhanallah, Abdurrahman bin Auf later on worked with his own hands, became wealthy. He married from his own money, and even Messenger Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam asked him, and he became a very rich man. Yes, who would, you know, and is among the 10 companions, Al-Ashar al-Mubashirin bil-Jannah, those who were given exactly Jannah when they were still what? Alive. So these were people who used to work, but also something of importance in here, those companions, that these were people who were very hardworking. They were business people, but then they never gave excuses for dawah. They never gave excuses for jihad. They never gave excuses for whatever was there to work for Islam, but at the same time they were very hardworking, and they would make matters they would make ends meet. Now,
so dear viewer, I think we've had the discussion.
Yeah.
I think as something we need to think through so much as the Muslim community out there, and maybe the leadership that are glued onto the screens of Salam Television. One is the fact that our social welfare system was given guidance by the Holy Quran. We have zakah, sadaqah, but because of our weaknesses, I don't know whether I should say it's even non-existent as of late, that the level of people that are contributing zakah is very small. Those that are doing sadaqah is small, and it becomes a duty upon the individual Muslim, the community, the leadership, to see how do we improve on the social welfare system of our ummah. That means it's a duty upon you and me to see individually, do your obligation, pay the zakah. If you don't know the requirements, kind of look up the leaders, the sheikhs, or guide us. Secondly, let's also improve on the sadaqah element of it, such that we reduce on people who are asking. We've seen that it's not honorable to ask of others, but there are cases where honestly this person is completely not having something. And for example, today, Hadith I think will believe with me that there are illnesses we have in the world today, where they give you a bill of 100 million, 50 million.
Now,
and you look through the whole clan, not even the, I think, near people, you can't raise the money. And that would only best be served by the social welfare system. So the Muslims out there, the leadership, the community generally, we need to see how to improve on the social welfare system, such that we reduce on some of these sins of asking others, and even not measuring up the social welfare system of the ummah. We ask Allah to help us through that. As we request our producer to take us through the break, we hope that in the second segment shall be having another aspect of abstinence that we shall be looking at, inshallah.
Salam TV.
Explore, enjoy and dance to the latest content, beats and kawozi from Uganda and beyond. Simply go to your Play Store or App Store right now, find Afro Mobile, download it straight to your phone and get started. Is it TV you want? Simply open the app, click on TV, select the channel you want and watch live. Are you busy right now? Then check out On Demand or enjoy in your free time. Afro Mobile. The future is now.
Oh, you can touch this. Hey, but you can test it. Ooh, but you can test it. Everybody grab a bottle and sip some. It's Miranda time, flavors unmatched, tongue tingling, thirst quenching and bombastic. Oh, sweeter than sweet, bolder than bold. Flavors explode, making you go ah. Oh, you can test it.
There's no flavor like Mirinda, now in a fresh new look with the same great taste. Enjoy the tongue-tingling flavor of Mirinda Fruity, Orange, Green Apple, and Pineapple. Mirinda.
Uganda, a land bursting with culture and creativity, introduces an innovation for our times. Next Wowzy, a fusion of Next Media, Uganda's largest media network, and Wowzy, a leading influencer marketing platform. It's more than just a platform. It's a movement that bridges ambitious brands with vibrant content creators. Download the app today. Connect, create, influence.
Paya amazi nsobola okusasula ne momo
No.
ha nsobola okusasula ne momo ha
yino merchant code yaffe
kirungi
Sebo meka?
ebiri nyabo nsobola okusasula ne momo
Bambi nedda.
ha baby tuve wano
Bukibanga okusasula ne MTN Momo kigirako emigaso mingi n'egisingako eri buli omu tekikola makulu okubanga tugirina.
Hello, nkimye rent.
nsobola okusasula ne momo ha
Yes, osobola.
Sasula obaggula ne MTN Momo olwo tukuddize ssente oleweeki ya mwereere. Kozesa Momo app oba nyiga *155*3#.
Fe aba NASA Recruitment Agency tukwaniriza gwe omwana ow'obuwala omunayuganda ng'olina passport yo wakati w'emyaka 21 ku 35 jangu tukutwale e Saudi Arabia okukola nga housemaid. Wasomako oyogera ku luzungu jangu weewandiise naffe ogenda okole tojja kwejjusa. Tusangibwa kyalo Wajjala ku opposite ne Mogas Petrol Station ku Muzikiti. Oba osobola okuba ku namba y'essimu 0702 334861 oba 0394 825219. Weebale nnyo.
NASA Recruitment Agency.
Eno ye Salam TV.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Dear viewer, welcome you from the break. The show is Alhidaayah for those that are just joining us, and we are looking at the aspects of good morals in Islam, specifically the aspect of abstinence or ta'afuf. My name is Sekarala Muhammad, your host, and with me is brother Sinan Siraj Mbalambago, to help us have a clear understanding of what the different aspects of abstinence as an aspect of good morals in Islam are concerned. Brother Sinan, as we come into the second part of the show, we want to look at another aspect of abstinence that the Muslims out there should look out for, inshallah.
Now, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Like I emphasize, these components, they are part and parcel of good conduct, of good behavior.
Okay.
Like we have seen in that first one, it's a challenge that, you know, one, for you as an individual, you have that self-discipline, because Tawaf is all about discipline, not to ask. But also, on the other hand, doesn't mean these people should actually die of hunger, of need, and so on. The society, the welfare system should be in such a way that we are responsive and is sensitive to ensure that we understand some of these things and then be able to take and rescue our brothers and sisters who may be in what? In problems. Of course, not forgetting talking about those who make it as a way of life. Somebody gathers and they tell you somebody has become a millionaire out of begging. Now that is again on the extreme, which is also not what encouraged. So we pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to guide us. Amen. The other aspect, maybe what we may end with today, is the ta'affuf of avoiding doubtful matters.
So it's supposed to be a discipline I develop.
Exactly. You know, such that you abstain from even doubtful matters. The moral of ta'affuf, when it settles very well in the heart of a person, it takes them to a level that even for something that they are not really sure about, their halality, if I'm to borrow that term, they try to avoid. There is a hadith, Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "Inna al-halala bayyinun wa inna al-haram bayyinu wa baynahuma umurun mushtabihat." That, you know, what is halal is evident, plain for everybody to see, and what is haram is well known, very clear. And it says, wa baynahuma, between halal and haram, umurun mushtabihat, the issues that have shubha, that have, they are doubtful matters.
They are contested.
Exactly, are contested. Some people say they are halal, others say they are haram. You know, you are not really sure. And then it says, la ya'lamuhunna kathirun minan nas. A majority of the people do not know them. But now he gives us now advice. When he says halal is clear, haram is what? Clear. Eating what you have earned is different from eating what you have stolen. So this is very clear. It's haram, and this is clear. It is what? Halal. But it says majority of the people do not know these doubtful what? Matters. And it says the advice was, فَمَنِ اتَّقَ الشُّبُهَاتِ فَقَدْ اسْتَبْرَأَ لِدِينِهِ وَعِرْضِهِ. Whoever fears to indulge in doubtful matters, okay, would have protected their faith, their deen, وَعِرْضِهِ, and their honor. And remember, abstinence is all about keeping somebody's honor, somebody's self-respect. You get what I'm trying to say? So when you avoid doubtful matters, you are protecting your deen, you're protecting your what? Your honor. But it says, وَمَنْ وَقَعَ فِي الشُّبُهَاتِ وَقَعَ فِي الْحَرَامِ. But whoever falls into doubtful matters, in most cases they will end up falling into what? What is prohibited. So in this, that, you know, this abstinence should take you to a level that even something you are not sure of, it's better to leave it. And there is a very good scenario. I think it is Abu Huraira radiallahu anhu, who narrated from Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam about a man who bought land from another. Now, this land which was being sold, it had a hole which was filled with gold. Now, after the transaction, the buyer told the seller that, look, take your gold with you. Because I seen the gold in. Take your gold with you. I sold you. I
bought from you.
Exactly. I bought from you only the land. There was no issue to do with what? Gold. And subhanallah, now these are people with really ifa or ta'affuf with even things that they are not sure of, because each one of them was not sure whether it is their right to take the gold. You get what I'm trying to say? So the buyer is like, take your gold with you. I only bought land from you.
And the seller says, no, you sold.
And the seller was like, I sold you my land with whatever was in there. He was also, he needed the gold, but he was also not sure whether he should take it. You understand? So there was some sort of a stalemate. Then they took it to a third party, like an arbitrator. You're a lawyer. You have the Arbitrations Act that you must choose somebody, no? To arbitrate in between you. So they reach the arbitrator. He asks them that, do you have children, the both of them? One of them said, I have a son. Another one said, I have a daughter. Then he was like, you know, marry these two children to each other. Then spend this money on them and yourselves, and the remainder give it out in charity.
First repeat that. So
he told them.
So the money from the gold?
Yes, from the gold.
Oh, from the gold.
Exactly.
Okay,
because this is the valuable item that had brought in the contestation.
Yes.
Each one of them. You see, just look at what we live in today, my brother Sekalala. It is somebody who is even telling you, you've just bought a land. And you realize there is
gold.
Exactly. And now, you the one who has bought, you are the one even fighting. I've already bought this land, I have exclusive rights.
Actually, today, somebody can even just fight over matoke of cassava.
Exactly, wallahi, these plants which are cheap.
I need somebody to say, I was just using this land to have something.
And actually, even when you buy, say, no, the land is different. Now I want some money with my cassava, which is there, with my banana plants, which are in there.
Indeed, so we still have a lot in terms of spirituality.
Exactly. So now, these are things that even something they were not, each of them was not sure
of,
and was taking it as a doubtful matter. But the guidance was, Messenger Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said, فَمَنِ اتَّقَى الشُّبُهَاتِ فَقَدْ اسْتَبْرَأَ لِدِينِهِ وَعِرْضِهِ. When you fear doubtful matters, it will enable you to protect your deen and your honor. Because really you are not like you're on a sure deal. You've done something right. Not that if it works out this way, maybe I'll get. If it doesn't work out, then it's like when they talk about people who play football. If you have a team that is not so good at winning matches, it reaches a level when they base on mathematics.
Yes.
If we beat this team and the other team beats another team, they will be able to qualify.
I know that is always associated with our national team.
I don't know, I didn't want to mention that.
Anyway.
Yes. So you want to be sure.
You want to be sure.
To be sure. And that is the ta'afuf of even avoiding doubtful matters. You know, and it many times, Messenger Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, among the things, despite he was not talked over as a person who was so rich, but Allah had prohibited him from taking charity, from taking sadaqah. I think you are aware of that.
Yes.
Yet he was allowed to take what? Gifts. So in many times he would say that at times I would go home when very hungry. Then I find a date on my bed. Then I pick this date. As I'm about to eat it, I remember say, maybe, what about if I eat it and it was got from charity, from sadaqah? And then he would put it down without eating it. Now, that level of ta'afuf, of avoiding doubtful matters. Remember, even that is also at a relatively higher level. I have a brother who told me of a gentleman here in Uganda. Allah gave him wealth. Is a Hajj Muslim,
yes,
but used to give out a lot of money when they're building masajid here and there. But whenever even other people of other faith would be building, for example, churches, again he would donate generously.
In other words, he was not sure of.
Yes, now somebody confronted him and asked him, what is your objective? When it comes to building mosques, you are the front line. When it comes to building churches, you are the front line. And then he was like, man, these things of religion, you never know. I want to have it both ways. When we reach Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and Islam was the right and correct religion, I will be safe. When we reach there, when it is the other faith which is correct, I'll also be what?
I'll be safe as
well. You know, like the English people say, you can never eat your cake and have it at the same time. At the same time, you have to choose. So this is the issue of doubt.
So in other words, what I'm picking is there are things that are core matters of creed, belief.
Exactly.
And as a Muslim, it is your duty to believe, as Allah has told us in the Holy Quran, Alladhina yu'minuna bil ghaib, that the quality of a true believer in Allah is one who believes in the unseen. And therefore, when they tell you this and this, you need to have no slight level of doubt that whatever was mentioned by the Quran and the Messenger Muhammad was the truth, and that we have to uphold it. Then now comes to matters of a relation between man and man, and then man and the environment. For that, you have a level of being objective and then try to ensure that you are sure of what you're going to say,
Yes.
you're sure of what you're going to do,
Yes.
as being halal or haram.
Haram. And sometimes even the heart tells you.
The heart even tells you.
Yes, because you know this has quite a number of examples. There are people really who try to care about themselves. That this was a manager who was new in the place. He was told people of our age. He was new and he was dealing with the procurement. Then one of the clients, the suppliers to that company, comes to him when he's just new in the office, and gives him some money. Say, you see, this money is for you, maybe for airtime and to take care. Maybe you need to call me here and there, and so on. But in the actual sense, it was a bribe. And you know, bribes, they are not called out for the names that they are. You hear people saying kitu kidogo. We have names like chap chap.
It was called tafari.
Yeah, and I remember recently, I think the president was in Chitugum when he asked the people that what is the name of corruption. I think somebody mentioned something like chamsana. Yeah, something like that.
A lunch.
Yes. So it's like, no, but that is in their language.
Oh, in their language.
Exactly.
Okay.
Now, and I'm not even sure whether I pronounce it very, very well. But then, this person was giving this manager of procurement some money to actually bribe him, because he was not sure whether he would give him business again. Then after he had given him, these are so many years. I had this story maybe over 20 years ago. And this man, because this one actually was a Muslim, he said, now, if I'm the one to make these decisions as to who to award the tender, who should supply here and there, and I eat this man's money, will I still remain with the moral authority to point out the faultiness in their products, in the supply, the quality, to ensure it is done the way? Because practically would have been bought off. So it's like he struggled with the money. The heart refused to take that money until he went to his boss. Say, you know what, boss? I have a problem. So and so gave me this money. And many times Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tests us with such things. When you're on the wall, you don't have any money with you. Sometimes even nothing even to eat at home.
Sometimes it's the school fees.
Exactly. So the boss was a very understanding boss. So when he goes to him, tells him, what do you feel in your heart? Say, I feel in my heart as if it is not halal. It's not okay for me to eat this money. That's why I've come to you. He said, you know what you're going to do? How much has he given you? He said, this amount. So the boss gets this money and gives it to him.
To the employee.
Yes, from the company coffers. But from the company coffers, but from his pocket, gives him that this is okay for you. This money which the man gave you, call him. When he comes tomorrow, give him back his money. Now, what causes that is that he was not really sure whether he was going to eat what is halal or what is what? Haram. And at the end of the day, that actually is also a relatively higher level of ta'affuf with doubtful what? Matters. But how many times have we fallen in some of the things?
Actually today,
you even find an excuse to ensure that you sanitize it to become halal.
Actually today there is a term that is being used.
Yes.
There's a difference between corruption and then facilitating the process.
Yes.
For example, you want to get a passport.
No.
Express, ideally you pay some amount and then you processed first, right?
Yes.
But I can tell there are people even who get their passports faster than the express.
How?
Just pay slightly more than the express figure. For example, if express is 400, you pay.
But I think that is paying for the for making it quicker.
So that's what I'm asking. Is that you are talking about the other man who refused the gift?
Yes.
Doubt.
Yeah.
Now, in such a case, would the person who is taking the 800 to make it a quicker process assume that is it taking halal money?
I don't know about that, but with this one is very clear that somebody is giving you money to compromise you. It's like you get an envelope, worth hundreds of millions. You hand envelopes to an interview committee, for example, of a board of directors of a given company.
Yes.
And yet you're going to sit an interview in the next few days. Practically, you're bribing them. You are changing their mindset. While this one I cannot comment because I'm not a Sharia specialist or a scholar.
So that's why I brought it as the first step in the process.
Yes.
So I think.
Yeah, but because but in the ordinary way, because even there is where you see the people in the migration, rightly they tell you, ordinary taking its own time, you pay this. But if you want to express, because it is called express, that this is used to make it what?
Yeah.
Faster.
Now what is interesting is that, like I hinted to that, the express money is known.
Yes.
And that if you paid,
yes,
you can have it either in 24 hours or 3 days, 3 working days. But the one who pays 800,000, sometimes even in 30 minutes can get the passport.
I didn't know about that. But definitely there is something not right.
So it means there is something that is.
Yes.
But it is called facilitating the process. I'm told it is the same thing we have in the court system and other
and it is very tricky today.
Which is a tricky
in our country. I don't know much about other countries. That corruption has almost been institutionalized.
Almost from the grassroots.
Yes, because somebody will tell you openly, you can't get your documents, your plan approved, you can't get your work, I mean, you'll be worked without speaking in the right language. And, you know, companies now put up a budget, specifically they call it public relations. Yeah, public relations, because you want to facilitate. You have applied for license. If it comes, somebody say they have signed on it, but then somebody has to someone has to be made happy before they can be what? They can sign.
It is school inspectors.
Number 2, you find somebody is given a contract, but on this contract, for instance, if it is a contract to provide a service, maybe you're providing security service, maybe you're providing cleaning services, and then on top of the contract sum there is a certain percentage cut monthly to go to the maybe the procurement department or the the people who are in charge of, or the legal department that are making those contracts. So many times that is money really which you are not sure, because somebody said no, I didn't ask for it, because there is a difference from you asking for it and also somebody out of courtesy say, okay, I'm grateful for what you've done for me. It's like a tip. I don't want to imagine a tip is different. Yes, because somebody has appreciated and is giving it to you. You've not asked for it. You've not, you know. But then somebody say, okay, thank you, you've done for me a great job. Here is a what? A thank you.
Thank you.
Now that is different. But we are talking about doubtful matters.
I think we leave it to the scholars. We have different scholars of Sharia, fiqh. They're the ones to guide. You know, today the world has institutionalized so many things and they have become so normal. But there is someone out there that is suffering.
Yes.
If I'm supposed to get a passport in 2 days, sorry, normally, let's say in a week's time.
Okay.
But because of this, people keep on paying money. Me who was given an appointment a week,
you end up
coming the 3rd month almost. So you end up coming, they tell you, yours is not ready.
Yes.
But day in, day out, people are getting what?
Yeah.
Passports. So I think there's something that the community out there needs to look up to, especially our scholars. We need to join the fight against corruption and then see how the institutions and organizations try to up their game. I was very much interested in the fact that our messenger Muhammad said that whoever avoids doubtful matters, you're protecting your faith and honor. And indeed, those people that have avoided those doubtful circumstances, many times when there are scandals in an organization, they stand out clean. And
everybody sees them.
And that just proves that the messenger Sallallahu said that if you indeed avoid something you're not sure of and say, guys, that man I'm not sure of. It's a source and
it's a gray area.
It's a gray area. The messenger has assured you, you will protect your faith and your honor. People say that organization has 90 people, but there are 3-4 people who for them do not even attempt to.
Yes, there are many people actually. I have. You see, when we talk about a gray area, we were talking about it some time back here, is that when you get black paint and white paint, black is black and white is white. But when you mix black and white, they form a color that is neither black nor white. And that's what we call a gray what? A gray area. And this is somebody I know I studied with. He went in one organization and he wallahi believes is very bad. This person was given money to go and organize a workshop. So he makes all the accountabilities and makes a report and so on. And the money they gave him, there was balance that remained, which was the unused funds. So in the report he put what he had used and the balance. And when he brought the money back to accounts, you know, and then the people of accounts were asking him, he was new, were asking him, what happened? Why are you bringing back this money? So no, I did the entire activity. Everything was taken care of. The receipts are here. But seems you guys had given me more money than what was necessary. I managed to bargain on quite a number of services, and this remained. Then they say, but you don't need this money. You know, some people ask you openly, don't you need this money?
Of course.
Then he was like, I don't deal in fraud. And because the belief is so bad in the organization, they nicknamed him fraud. So Shaitan changes what is right, and then, you know, it makes it look as if it is the one which is what? Which is wrong. But also, under normal circumstances, if the boss told you this money, it is up to you. You know, all I need are the deliverables, and the deliverables are A, B, C, D, and the money is here. Some people tell you, no, as long as you make accountability, even if you have made a cut out of it, that is nobody is going to tell you. By the way, in actual sense, nobody will tell you that you have stolen. But with the level of spirituality that we are talking about, with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you will know very well that really maybe there was something. And that is what makes you different.
Okay,
yes.
Mashallah. So
but also the second part is that when he says, وَمَنْ وَقَعَ فِي الشُّبُهَاتِ وَقَعَ فِي الْحَرَامِ.
Allahu Akbar.
So whoever falls in the doubtful matters
indeed ends up in haram.
In haram. So now the way to go for our viewers is, if something is doubtful, then the better thing to do is avoid it. Wallahu ta'ala a'lam. Yes.
Thank you very much. The time always is not enough, but we hope that with the small discussion and insights we had, our viewers have benefited something. We just pray that Allah continues guiding us. Our hearts indeed have a lot of weaknesses, and it requires a lot of effort, prayer, and surround yourself with people that give you courage. And we hope we are just providing some of that. We pray that Allah gives us the strength to uphold whatever has been said, and that we also try to avoid doubtful matters, and also try to ensure that we are not among those that find themselves in the begging habit. And to the leaders, the Sharia scholars, we have noted that some things are still gray areas which we have not clearly come out to explain to the public. Perhaps it is our duty to see that we do that. Thank you very much, the viewers, for being part of the show today. We can remember you can always follow up with this program on Facebook and as well as YouTube. Otherwise, till next time, I remain Muhammad Sekalala, and I was with Haji Sinan Suraj Mbulambago. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Eno, yes, Salam TV.